My D&D group said my microphone was super quiet in the last session. I've moved my computer around, so let's see if it actually affects my recording as well. All right, here we go. Back at it again with another video. Sorry about the long vacation. I had some troubles getting the review done on the 22nd, and then my motivation while on the road was lacking as well. I thought I could play a game on the plane and write a review before we land, but there was no way I was going to be able to write as efficiently as I could for an hour. So I just played a lot of roller derby disco dodgeball, and then in the car ride, I could have played another game and then written another review while sitting in the passenger seat. But again, that didn't happen. And neither did that happen on the way back home as well. I think it was a good idea to turn off all this work that I do for the weekend, being able to just focus on having fun and not worry about making videos for a little bit. And I also wasn't ready to come back to these videos quite yet, so I took the rest of the week and now I'm back ready to get things going again with these videos. Thank you all for sticking around. Anyway, welcome back to Mummified Games. Today we're going to be talking about the homage horror game Babysitter Bloodbath by Puppet Combo. Oh right, that's why I wasn't able to get the video out on the 23rd, because this game sucks. Okay. I don't want to be too harsh. Let me explain my experience with this game. That way you can sort of understand where I'm coming from. So back on the 23rd of July, I was going to sit down and play this game and give it a good fair shake at what this game gives. Okay, this is a cool retro horror style. I like what this game is going on with the hard camera angles, sort of giving it a classic horror film style mixed with a Resident Evil 1 vibe. I thought it was funny that you could spin the character sometimes in the cutscenes, just something silly. The controls or the way we navigate the dialogue is a bit annoying. So the game can be played almost exclusively with the WASD keys and spacebar. Walk Sarah forward and backwards with the W and S, and then turn her left and right with A and D. Look at or interact with things with the spacebar. All basic things. Not the best controls. You can't move Sarah as easily as compared to modern third-person games, but it's indie, and sometimes less than perfect controls can add to the gameplay and make it more of an interesting experience. The problem comes up whenever you have to make a selection in the game, like saying yes or no or conversation stuff at the start of the game. Then you can only use the mouse to make your decisions. And the controls are mostly hands off the mouse because it's also used to control which direction she's walking. So you don't want two hands messing up where Sarah is supposed to be walking. Most of the game was me playing one-handed with my right hand under my chin, sort of holding up my head. But then I would need to select something and I'd have to shift my body and refine the mouse and make the selection. A bit annoying when I could just use W and S to move the choices up and down in the menu and then select what I want to make with spacebar. I'm not a developer though, so maybe this is something hard to do. Back to the story though, the parents leave you with the kid and give you a number where they can be reached. There are numbers that you're expected to remember, so actually write it down. The gameplay starts after this, and it's fairly linear with its tasks it asks you to do. Turn on the TV, pick up the phone, go get a boy's number from your coat, catch Billy, call the boy, feed Billy cereal, get the key to the liquor cabinet, grab some booze. It's like making a star pattern all over the house. If you're checking everything, you might find the radio and turn it on and find a news broadcast talking about how there's an escaped dangerous mental patient. Again, what I was saying about the whole homage to classic horror. And eventually, surprise, surprise, there's a weird sound outside and Sarah asks the boy that she called over to go check it out for her. And that's when my game crashed. What an absolute joke. And so friends, that's when my troubles with getting this video out on the 23rd started. It was about 40 minutes into recording and I would have to start all over again from the start. Now, this isn't entirely the game's fault. Yes, there is a save feature, but it wasn't like I did a lot yet. To sort of get to this point, there was no danger yet. And knowing what I know now about what would have come next in the game, an event would have triggered that would have caused me to want to go save right after this. The power would have been cut and I would have been like, oh shoot, stuff's about to get real. Let me go save real quick. But that's something I noticed about the game after I came back and tried to play it again after my vacation. There's a tape that you can pick up and put into the VCR to save your progress. Big complaint right here. When you get to the VCR, you need to have the cassette to save. Well, that's nothing. It's just on the desk next to the TV. No big deal. There's lots of games that need you to go do something before you can turn on the global data history program. Some games have silly things like this, but the problem is that once I picked it up and used it to save the game, if I came back later, like I did on my second playthrough, it said I needed to get another tape to make another save. What? The audacity to make something like a save feature be a collectible thing? It's a joke. Not to mention, I've scrubbed this house from top to bottom, and there are no other cassettes in this house. I have no idea what I need to do to make this game save a second time. That's absolute bull. So eventually the power was cut. I had to make my way outside and see what happens. A high stress moment happens and now I'm forced to run away. And every 5 steps, the camera is changing as it's impossible to navigate. Not to mention that I'm being chased by a killer with a knife. I'm banging on the door and it's locked. Nowhere to go, trapped on the porch with a killer because it took me forever to get to the porch, and now I'm dead. Did I mention that this is incredibly dark and hard to see anything? Most of the recording, I had the same brightness settings I've had for the last game reviews for this, but I wasn't able to see anything, so I had to crank up the brightness. So it's dark, I can't see, I'm dead, and now I have to start halfway through this stupid babysitting situation again. Great. Make cereal again. Turn on the TV again. Everything all over again because I used my one save too early in the game. Eventually, I set the camera from the weird movie mode to the third-person camera to make things easier to move around with, and kept my hand on the mouse just in case. I went back to the VCR and I couldn't save after the lights went out, proving my point that you can only have one save. Once you're outside, you can't pick up the axe. You press the action button over and over and again to bang on the door, but now I'm dead. This is broken. So the clear thing to do is to go back in, use the one save I had just before I go outside to investigate and see the killer for the first time. Save just before the boss battle, right? Makes perfect sense. I've got everything down to what I need to do, where to go, and this should be a real quick thing. Just start up a new game. Standard intro always plays, walk up to the house, ring the doorbell, and Billy, I need you to run and find somewhere to hide. Do it. And I'm back at the start of the game. No milk spilled on the floor. Billy isn't running into the house. I didn't have a conversation with the parents about staying home. It's like all of a sudden I'm in a new game again, but yet Billy is missing. The father is stuck by the entrance. Great, the game broke again. That's it. I've given this game a fair shake. I've played the game for an hour and a half and the game crashed 3 times. Has a bad save feature, slow controls, and since I never played old horror games or watched old horror movies, I have no special feelings about this. If you already have this from a game bundle, then give it a shot since you already paid money for it. If you think you can have a better time and you want to give it a whirl, by all means, it's your money. But if this game looks interesting to you and you're thinking of giving it a shot, then maybe don't, or go find another game. Maybe one of the other 3 horror games this publisher has made. As for those of you who have played it, or even if you have experience with games like this, is this a good homage or not? If you haven't played this game, I'm almost scared to ask, but what other horror games are out there that you think I should try? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, maybe I'll just watch someone else play this and how they played the game, and figure out if they found some other trick to playing this game. You all do the YouTube dance. Like, sub, bell, comment down below any thoughts that you had. And as always, babysitters of the world, keep digging. We'll make it out sometime. See you in the next one.